Okay, guys, I think think we are back online. I don't know what happens. It just says like disconnected, and I can't really do anything. It's kind of weird because I never had that kind of problem before. But I think we are now back in back in business once again. I know it's very inconvenient for you guys because you kind of have to keep hopping between these streams, and I know it's kind of annoying, and it's definitely annoying from my perspective. Now I think we lost all the good comments and questions that I had coming from you guys. But if this doesn't work, then I just have to kind of find out. Kind of have to troubleshoot it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but at least now we are back online. So I guess now we just have to get back with the questions and comments you guys had from the previous one, and yeah, kind of annoying. So I don't really know like what went wrong or you know these kind of things. Let me just dashboard. What did I do? Hold on. Okay, cool. So we are back in business. we had to drop down, and now we had to start a new stream because it just died, and I don't know what happened. But at least we are now back in business here. The comments are not appearing on the screen, but I can see them on the side, so that's fine. Great. We have VMW again, we have Onat, we have Markus. What happened? I don't know, the stream died. I don't know like what I can... It just says like disconnected and reconnected, but nothing really happened, so... But okay, what can we do? Let's just keep going and see what we can do with now. What do you like about living in Finland, says Markus? Yeah, it's actually a good question. These are like these everyday things that we don't really always think about. But what I especially like is that it's very possible to have like a steady life here. You know, everything's safe. You can trust the system. There's the nature. There's the sauna. You can trust the people also. You don't really have to worry that someone like comes to stab your back. You know, these kind of things. What else? The seasons. I mean, I think some people think that having that winter is kind of bad, but it also offers some good things too. But these are some of the things. And then it's also kind of like a free country, so if you're kind of free to do whatever you want. Like if you want to start a business, it's very easy to start a business, or if you want to go to study, it's free to study here for permanent residents and so on. Vladimir asks, how many smoking acquaintances surrounds you? In Russia, this is a big problem, a lot of smokers. It's very disturbing who care about their health. That's a good question. I have never even tried smoking, and I really hate smokers or smoking. Well, I don't want to say that I hate all smokers. I just hate the smoking because I don't see anything good in smoking. Like it ruins your health. Everything smells. You know, it's just, and it's also very expensive to do. But luckily, around my friend circles, there's no smokers. I can't really tell about any. I can't really come up with any smokers. So about the social ID, it's not that I want to benefit from the SS. I only want to have the phone subscription insurance. You can't get the phone subscription. I think you need to have lived 2 years in Finland before you get the phone subscription. That applies to all foreigners. So even if you have the ID, you can't really do that. That's my latest knowledge. I don't know if that's still the case. And insurance. I don't know about the insurance. So I can't really tell about, because I don't know like what's the problem with the insurance. But with the phone subscription, you can't get. I don't think foreigners can get a phone subscription like right away. You can get a prepaid phone at least. Okay, Anan Menon says don't worry about it. Cool, alright. Melanie asks, if you could change one thing about Finland, what would it be? Oh, that's a very good question. There's probably many things, but let's see if I can come up with something else. Or something what would be very crucial. What could be the one thing? Okay, if I just have to quickly mention something, I'd just like people would be a little bit more open, more social. That's like one thing that would be much more fun, in my opinion. But there's probably something more, also kind of like more important ones, but that's just something that I quickly came up with. Good question, really good question actually. Winter in southern Finland has been awful. Well, there's no snow. It hasn't even been winter. I think it's just been raining and stuff. Onat says, what would you suggest is the fastest way to get citizenship in Finland as a student? Well, the thing is that I have made a video about the citizenship, and you have to live here continuously for like, is it 4 or 5 years? And you just have to live that 5 years. You can't really use the travel time machine and go to the future. And if you're a student, it only counts as a half of the time because it's a temporal residence permit. So you just need to. What I would suggest is just to learn the language to a level that you need, and then just spend time here as you would, and the citizenship requirements will be met eventually. But why is that? Why are Finns too difficult on it? Is it about? I don't know. Can you rent a house before you get a bank account? Probably no, because. Or actually, I'm not sure. I think, but well, you have to pay the rent by a bank transaction at least. So I think you need some sort of bank account. Is it right that Finnish higher education opens up new doors in the world? That's an interesting point. What do you mean exactly by that? Well, of course, if you get a higher education, it's when you have a degree. Of course, it opens doors for you, because nowadays, if you just have a degree, it's gonna open a lot of doors, because many people, if they get, let's say, a master's degree in mathematics, they don't necessarily have to start working in mathematics field. They can start to do something else. So it's very, very common nowadays to start working on something else than what your degree is. BMW says, Ed Bauke, it took me 5 months to get a bank account, and you cannot imagine what papers I had to fill in. I felt like you are untrustworthy or criminal. Why invest in the country? Well, I don't know. That's very unfortunate. I don't know what's your situation, but all the, for example, the exchange students and people who have got here, I think they've managed to get their bank accounts pretty quickly. I know there's a little bit kind of some struggle, because usually they ask the Finnish ID, and it might take a little bit while to get there. But if you just go with like a Finnish person, I've heard this kind of tip, like if you go there with your tutor or some Finnish person who can kind of explain it, okay, this person is here and we are waiting for they get the Finnish ID, then it might be easy. It kind of depends on the bank though, but I think I have to research on this topic a little bit more before I can actually say something that's accurate. But this is just what my hunch and what I've heard about. Okay, how close is Finnish to Estonian? I think we had a question on this. The language is very similar. Very similar actually. The written language is kind of understandable. The spoken language, not as much, but it's definitely very similar. The vocabulary and the grammar is quite similar and so on. Joris says, moi, tervetuloa takaisin Joris. We got a phone subscription within a month of moving to Finland. All we needed was our social security number. Exactly, this is the point. Like, I think it should be quite straightforward. I don't know, like, if there was some mess ups with the process. But good to hear from Chris that it's actually not that difficult. William says, moi ja hyvää huottavuutta Washingtonista. Morjesta William, kiitos terveisistä. Sain muuten sun sähköpostin, en ole vielä vastannut siihen, mutta yritän vastata siihen pian. I mean, that Finnish education is one of the best in the world. Well, you know, when we talk about the education system, it's kind of the basic education, the early education levels, upper secondary school and so on. But when we go to the higher degrees, I mean, you know, the Finnish universities are not the best in the world if we look at the rankings. But it's still very good. I mean, what's good about it that you don't really have to pay tuition fees if you are a resident from the European Union economic area, and we get paid to study. We have like this kind of benefits. So in that case, it's pretty kick-ass. Can you have a Q&A? What do you mean by Q&A? If it's a questions and answers, that's exactly what we are doing now. How good is the transport outside the city? How realistic it is to do without a car to get to work? Outside Helsinki, is that what you're asking? Well, it depends. Like if you, for example, live in Järvenpää or Kerava, there's a direct, like a local train that runs. So if you live next to the railways, then it's of course very doable. But if you live somewhere else, well, there's also bus networks and stuff. But like if we go outside the Helsinki, like or to other smaller cities, then usually a car might be necessary. But luckily here in Helsinki area, the public transportation is at least quite decent. Great. These are actually all very good questions, and even as a guy who's lived all my life here, these are not always so easy to answer, but I'll do my best to do that. Is it possible to learn and actually speak Finnish during the trip, like 2.5 weeks, because I can write Finnish but takes age until I build a sentence? Well, it's the same thing, like every time when someone asks this, it's like, for example, when you're going to the gym. At first you're not so strong, you can't really lift that much weights, but once you practice you get stronger and you can start put much more iron, you get stronger that way. So it's the same thing with language skills, so, and especially with speaking. So if you don't practice the speaking, if you don't start with the small weights and actually put it into use, you will never get to that level where you can actually have good conversations if you don't do the practice. So if during the 2.5 weeks you actively use it every day, I'm quite sure you can do like maybe some simple conversations. I would believe so. Of course it's kind of like very simple, but you know, the point of a language is just to convey your thought to another person using the language. So don't worry about the grammar and everything, because it's not really absolutely necessary to success what language is all about. So if Captain A seems he or she has practiced the writing or the reading, it says that I can write Finnish, but speaking takes time. So you just have to start practicing the speaking. That's the point. The comedian Ismo Leikola is very popular in America. Do you have more like him? Ismo is pretty funny, yeah. I don't actively follow his stuff, but I occasionally like get his videos on my YouTube feed. Do we have more guys like him? I don't know. I think he's the only one who's got like international reputation as well. William Prater reply, phones, a prepaid card is easy to cheap. Yeah, I mean that's the point. If you don't get a phone subscription, you can just get a prepaid card. You don't need anything. You just go to closest Alepa, buy it for like €7, plug it in, and boom, you can start to use it right away. Of course, you're gonna have to recharge it every once in a while, but at least you will get started with that, and that's very easy to do. I can do a video about that also if you want. Speaking about banks, which one would you consider has the best benefits and best better rates? What kind of products and services they offer? Okay, this is actually a very good question. The thing is that I have only used one bank, like a Finnish bank in my life, which is OP, and I think it's pretty good. Basically, what they do is when you become like it's like a osuuskunta. I don't know what's the term, but basically, when you become their member, you kind of own up. You're kind of part of the crew. And you will, for example, get these bonus points. Like if you have savings, investments, you will also get like a fraction of bonuses, which you can use to pay, for example, the service fees and stuff. I think that's pretty good, and everything runs pretty smoothly. I'm pretty satisfied, and I'm not really affiliated. This is not with OP. I'm not really, so this is just my personal opinion. OP is pretty good, but I strongly recommend checking out the other ones, because I've had OP ever since I was a kid, because my parents opened the bank account for me. But OP is pretty good. OP. Osuuspankki. Okay, then there's some Cyrillic letters. I can't read the name, but let's go with the question. My Finnish flat neighbor don't speak with me because I'm a foreigner student. 3 times I tried to introduce with him. Last Finnish neighbor was the same. But, you know, you will always meet... There's always these kind of people in Finland, but just ignore them. They seem to be very boring people anyways, even if they don't want to talk to you. That happens to me, like sometimes if I say hi at my block and they don't even reply to me, it's like, why would I want to spend time with that kind of person anyways? So don't get pissed and don't get stressed, because it's just natural. It seems you just had a little bit bad luck having just a bad neighbor, but if you just keep going, and eventually you will meet these cool international people, international minded people. Like if I had actually what I think myself, it's easier to talk to foreigners than it's with Finns, because I don't know, that's what I've always personally found in my life. Because I don't know, it's with Finns it's a little bit more difficult to start the conversation, but than with foreigners. But that's just my opinion. My dad has been to Pori, Tammerfors and Åbo. Cool. Okay, those are all good cities. Joe says, I had no problems opening a bank account the day after arrival. Okay, thanks Joe. It's great to hear from you guys, foreigners who have come to Finland and share some real experiences. So, according to Joe, it seems it's quite straightforward. As long as you just know what to do and what's the procedure, it should be fine. Lucky Chevit says, can you find work/permanent residency in Finland? You are not from the EU country. Yes, and I suggest you watch the video which I made at the end of the year with Malak. She's from Tunisia, Libya, and she lived in Portugal, and she managed to find a job here without having like a EU residence permit. Well, it was a residence permit, but not the EU citizenship. I strongly recommend to check out that video. Answer is yes, but of course it's a little bit more challenging. Wojtek Rudolf says, I want to learn Finnish. Where to start? Vocabulary or phrases? Both. I think phrases and vocabulary is a good place to start, definitely. And yeah, so that's what I would do. I'm planning to do a video at some point, like how to get started, like beginners. I have also made some videos in the past. They're a little bit old, but you can check them out also on my channel. I think there's even like a playlist, like how to learn Finnish. Alex himself, you just look that on Google or YouTube, you should find it. Vladimir says, how are your relations with your housemates? Does it happen that someone listens loudly to music or something similar when that happens? It can definitely happen, but luckily in my place where I live, I've never had that problem. But some people, of course, can have that problem. When I was studying in Jyväskylä, I remember once there was like a huge party of loud music, and I think we had to call the police because they didn't turn out. And then the police came and they, calmed them down, and it was good. But it's not really a typical problem, but it might occasionally happen. These are pretty good questions, guys. It's fun to answer this. I don't get the social security number because I don't live in Finland yet. The point is the Finns are European. Yeah, of course, because you need to live in Finland. You need to move to Finland in order to get the social security number. I think it's in every country. Like why would they give like a ID if you're not even the country yet? Joel says, I'm visiting Kuusamo and Oulu next month with the Finnish guy. Any recommendation? Maybe Joe can help with the Oulu recommendations. The thing is, I've never been to Oulu properly. But I think Joe might have some good tips. And I always, if you just go to Google, like Oulu places to go, you can always find some good, because some people have done the work before you, I'm quite sure. Unfortunately, of course, I would give some tips if I had some, but unfortunately, I haven't been there yet. Batuhan, how's it going, my man? I'm good. How about you? How's the new year? Captain A says, do you prefer S-Market, K-Market or Lidl? Absolutely Lidl, because Lidl has the cheapest price level and they have always good discounts and the quality is still very good. Lidl is very good if you want to get some good stuff with decent price. Of course, S and K-Market also fine. S chain has these Alepas, these grocery stores. I go to K-Market also occasionally, but Lidl is always the top spot. How is the school system in Finland? Well, that's a very very detailed topic. I think I will do a video about that, but if you just Google about this, you can get some pretty detailed information, which is better than my knowledge. Joe says, but regularly topping up is annoying and can be expensive, which I keep my foreign contract. Okay, that might be also the case. Joe says, I started with OP and was good, but I switched banks because I want support for Google Pay, but OP doesn't support it. Okay, that's good to know. I switched to Nordea, but Danske Bank also supports it. Okay, I don't, for example, use Google Pay at all, so it's not really a thing for me. But yeah, this is the thing, like, these are kind of things that you should kind of check out and just pick which one suits you the best. Love from India, bro. Thanks, man. Love to you to India as well. Ed says, is bus driving just a seasonal occupation in Finland? No, it's all around, because the buses have run all around the year. I took a bus today actually, so it's definitely a full season all around the year. William says, I agree completely, but if it's prepaid or wait 2 years, I use both the prepaid and my American plan, using WhatsApp, just trying to give options. Okay, cool. Anand says, Alex, the stream broke down some time ago, and would it be correctly to say your stream kadota kuin Piero Sahara? Yes, that would be a very good context to use this. So kadota kuin Piero Sahara means literally like disappeared like a fart in Sahara. So if something just like disappears like you know, out of the blue, then you can say. So we would say striimi katosi kuin Pieru Sahara. Absolutely good context used. Joris says, do Finns have a lot to do with so-called kindred peoples, other than Estonians, of course, like the Udmurt, Edsia, and the Hungarians? This is a new concept. I've never heard of this kindred. Maybe these are related to the kind of small, it's not kind of tribe, but what do you call it? We have like this inkeriläiset and these kind of, this like very small, like a, what is it called? I don't know. But it's not really like a thing nowadays. I think I get the point what you're trying to get with this question, but not. Let's just say not really. I don't know. But it's a good, interesting questions again. Joe says, yeah, I have a pay as you go Finnish SIM, and then I have the logo number, but my UK contract for everything. Okay, great. Captain A says, speaking of residence, there are a lot of ways to get residence permit. I think you made a video about it. Yes, I did. But you can also live there without those reasons. Like, I don't have relatives there or something. Well, you need some reason to get the residence permit, and all the reasons were listed in that. But yeah, you don't need to have relatives here. But if you get a job, if you get a student place, and these kind of things, then you can move here. But you need a reason to get a residence permit, or otherwise they would just kick you out. Shockmaster is also here. Hey Aleksi, moi moi, mites menee, hyvää uutta vuotta myös. I have all the cousins in Finland, so I need a local number when in country. They have trouble using WhatsApp. Okay. Lucky Savage says, if you are not from EU but you find work in Finland, can you bring your parent with you? You know someone who managed to do that. Well, I think the answer is yes, because when you get, let's say you get a residence permit based on work, then your parent can apply residence permit based on family ties. That's why my hunch, but I don't know if that's really the case, but that's, I would think, how it might work. But not sure, yeah. Carl says thanks, okay, eipä kestä. Joe says Lidl is very good for special deals in the middle of that change twice a week. Yes, Lidl is very good. Good job, German. That's a German chain, right? Isn't that right? Markus says, how should I start a confrontation with the Finnish person because they are shy? Just say anything. I mean, like, even Finns are shy. It doesn't mean that they don't want to be talked to. But of course it has to be like, if you just stop them in the street, that might come across a little bit weird maybe. But I've done that. Especially if I see like a girl I find interesting. I've just said, kind of went like, hey, I know this is kind of random, but I thought your shoes look cute. I wanted to say hi. Like I've done that sometimes, but my suggestion is that go to places where there's some sort of like social setting. It could be like a bar or some event or, you know, this kind of place. But yeah, it's the problem is that when everyone says like people are shy, reserved, don't get too caught on that, like, because we Finns are still like human and we need social interaction in our lives. Of course, some people are more social and some people are less social, but don't just go and do it. Just because the more you go talk to people, the more chances you have to meet awesome Finns. I just watched the video that you speak people from other Nordic countries. Oh yeah, it's a dating beyond borders video. That's cool. You skipped my question. Okay, there's so many questions coming in, so I might skip some because they are just like boom 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 coming. So just write them down, or you can rewrite them, and I'll try to answer them as we go on. Bebina is also. Moi Aleksia kaikille. Moi Bebina, hyvää uutta vuotta myös sulle. It is difficult to explain in 200 cars if I would come to Finland and as social security done, but I invest in the country and the Finnish company. That is the point. Finland surely is losing investors. I don't really understand the idea. I invest in the country as a Finnish company. Well, it seems this is like a business related thing. I don't really understand like what's the with this description. Vladimir says the world media writes about Finland as a country with the lowest crime rate. That is really great. Is it true that you cannot worry about your safety? Yes, Finland's very safe. I mean, even if you're like a single girl just traveling in Finland and you go to the clubs and you walk in the streets, it's completely safe. It's very rarely to get mugged or get your phones or wallets stolen. That has never happened to me. It does happen sometimes though. I heard people like having their phones stolen, but it's like very rare. But as long as you just pay attention and, you know, these kind of things, that's you'll be safe. And there's no pickpocketing. You don't really have to worry about pickpockets. I've never encountered pickpockets and so on. It depends on the visa, but it's best to check Migri to see what is okay. Okay, cool. Shockmaster is cool guy emoji. Alexandra G Sky is also here. Moi, sorry for being late. That's fine. We actually had the breakdown of the chat once again, but now it seems it's working like junan vessa. Like in Finnish we say like toimii kuin junan vessa, which means like it works like the toilet of the train. Which is kind of funny because usually the toilets of the train are not really functional, but it means that something is running really smoothly, working really well. Toimii kuin junan vessa. Let me just write it in the chat for you. Toimii kuin junan vessa. Line of the day, phrase of the day. So Lidl is terrific. 3 cheese and tomato pizzas for $3.30. That's $1.10 for a dinner. Wow, cool. Okay, with that diet, I think that works. Wish was I in Finland? I wish I was in Finland. I miss it. Well, Finland is still here, waiting for you. For future. Lucky Savage. Okay, it seems to be case specific, so hard to find out exactly if I would be able to do it. Most likely. Captain A. I mean, I would like to give Finland for 1 year's trial to get better with my Finnish and then after look for a job. But I try not to lifetime lasting job. Could I stay then? Yeah, of course, like if you move to Finland, you can always move out. You know, it's not like we are locking you and putting the bars. You know, that's what I did. For example, when I went to Japan, I had the exchange year for 1 year. That was like a trial. I get a really good experience, like how is it to live there, you know. And then I moved back, of course, after my studies. So of course you can do that as well. Because even if you get the job, you can always quit the job. Abdesamad says, the class already started and I still didn't get my residence permit. I'm so nervous. I actually heard about this from Olivia Kumpula, if you've seen her videos, that the Migri is having some trouble like processing these residence permits for students, and they are already late because the classes have already started, and I heard this is like, it's a big problem, and I'm kind of sad to hear that Migri, which is the immigration office, that they don't have enough resources to process. And I heard the universities have also kind of got pissed for that. Marcus says, okay, thanks for your answer. Okay, cool. I'm glad, because I try to answer as well as I can with these questions and answers, because even if I've lived here for a while, there's still some things I just simply don't know. Is it hard to buy a gun in Finland? I think the gun laws are very strict. Like, it's not like America that you can just go to a gun store and get the rifle. It's very regulated, and not anyone can just buy a gun. I don't remember the laws, but they're very strict. I think there's some like interviews and these kind of things, and you know how you keep the gun. You can't, for example, just put the gun below under your pillow. You know, this is like a funny saying. You need to have it like in a locked like a case, and these kind of things. It's quite strict, which is really good, I think. Joe says, I'd say it's very safe. If you lose something, it often gets back to you. You can walk around any time of the day without problems, but it's best to take normal precautions. Yes, that's also a very good point by Joe, that if you lose something, you have a quite big chance to get it back to you. It has happened to me. I lost once my wallet, and some dude found it and he returned it to this public post box, and the post office delivered to the police, and the police called me, hey, I think we found your wallet, and boom, got pretty much everything back. I have shared your channel with all my OG my friends. That's great. Thanks, Marcus. I really appreciate it. If I'm not mistaken, civilian owning a handgun is illegal. Yeah, but of course, if you're like a hunter, like you do hunting. My dad is, for example, he does some hunting sometimes. He has a. I'm not sure if he has. I think he has like a rifle, like a hunting rifle. Would you say Haagaheli is a good university? I applied to study for international BBA. And just wonder if you have an opinion on school. Well, I haven't studied there, so I can't really say for myself. But I think it's pretty good. Like usually the Helsinki area schools are kind of good, so I think it should be quite good option. Next question. Terve, do you agree that Finland is most happiest country in the world, and do you think government in Finland needs to fight with alcohol? Answer this first question. I have made a separate video about this. I think you should go watch it. And the second one is that, well, the alcohol, like the thing with alcohol in Finland is that we have more like problem drinking. You know, we have more people who have alcohol problems. And of course, I think we should take care of those people. I don't know, do we have the resources? But of course, the less problems we had, the better. So that's what I think. I like your Finnish English accent. Yeah, well, it's very Finnish, like not like a very super Finnish, like for example the people from Hydraulic Press channel, but it's still Finnish. Handguns are available in XXL Sports. It must be possible to get a license for them, but maybe you need the sport or hunting season. Oh, really? Can you buy guns from XXL? But are they? I don't think they are like proper guns. They have to be like some kind of like an air. You know, this kind of air guns, or maybe it's the paintball guns or something like this. I don't know, because it sounds very weird. Let me just say Google quickly XXL. Okay, they say like this air weapons. Ilma-aseet, mikä se on englanniksi? Yeah, they're like they're like air rifles, air guns. So it's not like a proper handgun, it's like an air... Ilmakivääri, mikä se on? Is it just air gun? Let me go to the dictionary quickly. Ilmakivääri. Yeah, air gun. Pellet gun. Okay. So that's the idea. But it's not like a real, like a lethal weapon, I think. Okay, interesting stuff. Wow, so many questions. I have to start scrolling the good positive problems. By the way, if you haven't hit the thumbs up for this stream, boom, make sure to do that, because we need more thumbs to make me happy. No kidding, I'm already happy. But yeah, anyway, just hit the thumbs up. Anyways, I always try to come up with some neat, clever for these thumbs up things, but I always fail miserably. How hard is it to get admitted into college in Finland? It depends what you mean by college, because in Finland we don't really have colleges, we just have universities or universities of applied sciences and vocational schools. Well, it depends completely on the school and the degree program. Some programs are very prestigious, a lot of applicants every year. Of course, it's more difficult, but others are less as difficult. Can recommend a Finnish book and movie. Well, maybe Tuntematon sotilas is the classic. Unknown Soldier. It's both a book and a movie. It's like it tells about the World War II event. So in case you're into war stuff, that might be a good one. Anand says, Alex, you mentioned that you're interested in marketing and sales. Do you believe in the saying, kauppialla on sian sielu, lampaan aivot ja koiran omanut? I think it's maybe the first time I ever hear this one. So it means like the sales guy has a soul of pig, the brains of a sheep, and esteem of a dog. Actually, this is the first time I hear this. It's a very interesting one. I can't really say if it's true, but that's a very interesting phrase to hear. I see. In that case, it's difficult to get one heavily regulated. Okay, cool. What are Finnish people's thoughts on Mexico and Mexican people? Not really sure. I think it's mostly positive. There's a lot of like this. Well, Tex-Mex isn't really like. It's not really like Mexican, but well, if I have only most like positive things, but it depends. I don't think Finns don't really think anything sort of special. Maybe some do, but that's what I think. Sean says people are very honest there and return stuff. That's true, yeah. Alexander says, Alex, if you would study again or maybe postgraduate studies, which city university would you choose? Especially in humanistic field. Well, this is a very difficult question because, first of all, I don't have a humanistic background, so I can't really say. It's very difficult to say because I don't know like which schools offer good humanistic stuff. But I would probably go maybe University of Helsinki or Aalto University or maybe Tampere University of Technology. But I don't want to do PhD. That's for sure. Like I'm done with the studying and that's I've had enough. But yeah, of course it's a hypothetical question if I was to study again. But very difficult. But I guess it would be also cool to go to some city where I haven't been yet. So like Rovaniemi or Joensuu and this kind of thing. Are messages hidden if they have a link? Yeah, like if they might usually get okay, restart. Yeah, if you post links, they don't usually get through, I think. Oops, what happened? What's your favorite country besides Finnish or Finland? I like Japan. Japan is pretty good. I lived there 1 year, so would love to go again. Is Kuopio a good city? Planning to study there or Joensuu? Which should I choose? That's a good question. I have been to both like briefly, but I can't really say like which one. I think Joensuu is a bit bigger, or is Kuopio bigger? Yeah, I can't really say. I haven't been to those places properly. Imagine Adi says, hello, welcome. I've immigrated to Finland on a permanent basis. Should I use Finnish courses to find courses to learn the language, or do you know better resources? Well, getting a speaking partner is always great. Courses are also good if you like to do courses. There's like a lot of different things you can do. Use some apps to learn Finnish. And so on. I'm planning also to do a video about this different resources at some point. But getting a tutor is very good. Like that can help you a lot. It might cost some money, but I believe like if we always think about the top, the best people like in sports or business or whatever, they always train with their coach or a tutor, whatever. And that's why they are good, because there's someone to actually help them to get better. How many people are interested in politics? Many countries can be blamed for excessive bureaucracy to get simple help. Are officials friends or rather an enemy? Well, I think in Finland it's not that bad. Like the bureaucracy isn't really... I think it's quite okay. But politics, well, I'm not really much into politics. I do, of course, follow the news and stuff. But I don't know how many people are actually interested. Wow, there's so many questions coming in, which is good. Seitsemän veljestä is also great, but that's a classic. And Lorena is also here. Terve ja hyvää uutta vuotta myös sulle. Airsoft guns. Okay, now we're getting to this, which I talked about a while ago. How can I learn Finnish language? Well, I have made some videos about this on my channel, so you should check out those ones. Markus says, you are my new favorite YouTuber. Thanks, Markus. I'm really flattered by this title. Pretty awesome. At least you can put various types of handguns and rifles in the rural village of Oulu. Cool. Because you're Finnish and cool and smart and awesome. Oh wow, thanks for the kind words. Wow, there's so many comments coming in. Vector says, hi, I'm from Ukraine, found out my mother is 7.9 Finnish. 7.9. What does that mean? Maybe because Mongols or Siberians, I don't know. Okay, cool, I don't know. A 7.9%, okay, that makes sense. I also heard of Kalevala. Kalevala is like the epic, but that's like very poetic stuff. But yeah, but it's a national epic. It's a national epic, national poem. Is national poem in English? Lucky Chevits. What is children and young girls' behavior like in Finland? I ask because in a lot of countries nowadays in the West they have not raised properly, so their behavior is really bad. Well, sometimes I do kind of see this kind of behavior from youngsters as well. And what I've read in the news, for example, that the young people of today, they are more like, mikä se on, levoton, like restless, because they have grown up with the smartphones and notifications, so their like attention span is getting like more narrow. So that's kind of like a little bit alarming, and teachers have trouble like controlling the smartphone usage, and that the kids don't really pay attention to classes. So that's definitely a problem, and what I think that the teachers are not strict enough, so they let the kids kind of rule. This okay, but this is a little bit it's not like everywhere like this, but I've heard these kind of stories happening somewhere. Dia Fortu. No, Finland is not the happiest country, it's only what the liberal leftists say. We have a lot of mental alcohol problem and people are too much depressed. Okay, this sounds a little bit like exaggerated comment. Of course, these kind of problems do happen, or we have these kind of problems, but it's not like a huge problem, I think. Kalevala is a very awesome book, I recommend it. Cool. Imaginadis says hi. Can someone explain what exactly Kalevala is? Well, it's the national poem? But if you just Google, again, Google gives you all the answers. If you want more in detail. I need to apply for citizenship, I must know the language, what the level need, B1 or B2. You can see that if you just Google Finnish citizenship requirements, you can get the answer from there. I think it's B2 maybe, but not sure. Joe says, if you go to your city's website, then there's the list local resources for learning Finnish. There's also all access course. Yeah, thanks Joe for the shout out. You can also try that one. Hyvä, have you ever been to St. Petersburg or any cities in Finnish border? Yes, I've been to St. Petersburg. That was like 5 years ago. Anand says, they say the English people find learning English hard, but is the reverse true? Do Finns find learning English hard or easy? I think it's quite easy because we grow up kind of in this international like English environment in that sense. When we watch TV or movies which have English language, they are never dubbed, they're always subtitled, so we actually get to hear the language quite a bit. So it's very easy to learn, at least that's how I feel, and that's one of the reasons why Finnish people can speak quite good English. I never found English particularly difficult. I come from Stavanger, city west in Norway, fourth biggest city. Cool. You live in village of Oulu. It's funny that you guys are referring Oulu as a village. Are you originally from there? What are land house price like already? National Finnish epic. It's basically a mythological folklore story that explains how the world was made. It's actually cool that you guys know better. You have better like explanations to some of these than I do. But yeah, thanks. Loredana had pretty good stuff there. It has characters that represent types, and the main plot is fight between good and evil Kalevala people vs Pohjola people. Cool. I thought I was done with my studies, but being in love with Finn, I need to sort out how to get Finnish job market. I'm a lawyer, both Polish and German, but apparently I need to develop more. Cool, but was this related to the postdoc stuff previously? Because I've also heard that getting like a postdoc, like a doctoral degree, doesn't necessarily help to get a job. Because it's very like the field dependent. Like some fields just need more workers than others, so. I'm from the UK, but I live in Oulu now. I'm not sure what the prices are because I rent, but there are plenty of websites only you can check. Yes, that's right. Thanks, Joe. Kalevala is good to read to get down references, strategies, ideas. Toy can find and download the literature. You don't need it, but it can enrich reading of other books. That's true. Which is the best age for marriage? Well, I don't think that's the best age, because that's kind of like you have to choose for yourself. Finnish people though get married kind of late. It's like 30 plus, something like this. Kalevala is quite fascinating, especially like the names, the characters, and the fact that many of those names actually are used in Finland. Yeah, like Pohjola, Tapiola, and so on. What you not like about living there? Same question for you, Alex. Well, maybe the winter period kind of boring, dark, gloomy. And then like the Finnish, like, how would I explain? I actually have to think about this. There's actually not much to complain about. But tästä meistä meidän pitäisi. Maybe against the same, like meeting with people is not always so easy, and this is something I should think more often, because the thing is that there's not much to complain about. But like if I, for example, when I was in Portugal, there's like a lot of this, like it was very warm. There was like a lot of like beaches, and price level was cheap, but that was very enjoyable. And like in the summer you can definitely have these kind of experiences, but yeah, that's very very difficult one. How hard is it to buy a house or apartment? Are there loans for this, or will they give you a loan in presence of permit? Well, if you are a permanent resident, or like you have a residence permit here, like a continuous one, you can negotiate the loans with the bank, and if they see that you have like a steady job, you're making money, and they can give you a loan. That's what many people do. I live in Tampere. Tampere is pretty cool. I have shared your channel with all my friends because you deserve to have more subscribers than you have right now. Thanks, Marcos. That's awesome. And I know your other guys also. If you know any people who would be interested in Finnish stuff, make sure to share my channel with them. Okay, let's take a few more questions, and then we have to unfortunately wrap up this stream. But I'm actually quite glad that this stream didn't crash. Is it true that you can get to St. Petersburg without the visa if you go with the ferry from Helsinki? Yeah, that's true. Like they have these visa-free trips from this what do you call this, like a travel agency. But yeah, you can do that. When you move out of your home, do your parents still help you from time to time with money or by cooking food? Yes, like my parents, they especially with the food stuff. With money, not really nowadays, because I'm working already, and during the studies I was also getting the student benefits and summer jobs. But yeah, like every time if I go home, for example, last time when I came back here, they packed like a lot of berries, like blueberries, lingonberries, with me, and now they are in my fridge. So in that sense, yes. But it depends, of course, the parents. But my parents are pretty kick-ass. They always do this cool stuff. Okay, that's a good question. How similar, different are personality looks wise Finland girls versus Swedish girls. Well, I think they're more or less the same, like, because we all come from the same region, like Northern Europe, so there's not much difference, I guess. Blonde girls probably well, it's a stereotype that they are blonde girls, but they're not necessarily blondes. But if I went to Sweden, I would think it would be kind of same to date. Not much difference to date Swedish or Finnish girl. Of course, there's the language and these kind of things, but yeah. Okay, let's take one more question and then we wrap up this one. It's almost 9 here and I have to get ready for tomorrow's work and so on. But there were a lot of good questions again. I'm always happy to help you guys out with these. And I hope my answers are helping out at least a little bit. Let's see. Alexander says, I think Finns have it easy to learn English because they're exposed to it. Yes, I completely agree. For example, they have subtitles in TV and not necessarily dubbing. Yeah, we never dub, especially except the kids' cartoons. But anything else are like the same, most likely. Okay, great. Thanks for all the questions and comments, and thanks for being here. I'm glad that the stream didn't crash this time. We managed to go all the way to end. So happy New Year, happy 2020. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and join our FINTASTIC Facebook group. The links are in the description. And we will see in the next video, most likely next week. And so happy 2020, happy New Year, hyvää uutta vuotta, kiitoksia kaikille. Nähdään samalla.